With 4 new big arrests, Atlanta police believe they have just about shut down the so-called Black Mafia Family. And as our Julia Harding reports, these suspects were hiding out in one of the city's most popular areas.
U.S. Marshals say this man, one of Atlanta Police Department's top 10 most wanted and a member of an organized crime family, is now behind bars. U.S. Marshals tell me they arrested 37-year-old Ernest Dennis and 40-year-old Jonathan Manigo here outside a Buckhead hotel. Both men, they say, are members of the so-called Black Mafia Family, or BMF.
Anyone tied to BMF typically has an extensive criminal history, so we consider them to be very violent.
Investigators say the organization BMF is heavily involved in drug trafficking and has been in Atlanta at least since 2004. At that time, federal agents seized this limo with secret compartments that had almost $1 million hidden inside. Within the last 2 weeks, U.S. Marshals and Atlanta police have arrested a total of 4 BMF members, including these 2 men, Ricardo Webb and Tovis Raines.
Definitely slowly destroying their organization.
An organization that at one time claimed to rule Atlanta. Now agents say that's no longer the case. In Atlanta, Julia Harding, Fox 5 News.
Demetrius Flenory, a.k.a. Big Meech. Big Meech.
Everybody's shining like new money. And ain't no other crew like this in the world, and there never will be another one. Everybody is from somewhere else different. Milwaukee, St. Louis, Detroit, Texas, Atlanta, Cali.
Demetrius Flenory went out to California. He hooked up with a California guy who knew some Mexicans. One of the co-defendants, Wayne Joyner.
Meech and Terry may never have risen above middle-class dealers had they not met Wayne Joyner.
Once they had access to vast amounts of wholesale kilos, that changed everything.
The brothers offered kilos of coke for only 17 grand.
BMF was buying mass quantities. Kilos going for 9,000. Then turn around selling for 17,000. You're doubling your money.
To make things easier, Terry moved from Detroit to Los Angeles to handle the incoming shipments.
Terry used to like to dilute his kilograms, stretching the number of kilograms to increase his profits. Meech's theory, don't sit on it, move it, and he enjoyed a reputation of distributing very pure kilograms.
One of the investigators said, all cocaine is 3 generations away from BMF.
On the street, Terry's cocaine was referred to as Moet, but Meech's is referred to as Cristal.
The brothers set up a network across the country with hubs in St. Louis, Detroit, and Atlanta.
They had connections and pipelines in most of the major cities in the United States.
Big Meech.
They said that if niggas like this is shining all together, being together, doing shit every day, then they gonna fall out over some money or somebody gonna rob, steal, and kill. I have yet to see that.
He lived a life most drug dealers could only dream of. Big Meech.
But every place we stay, LA, Atlanta, Detroit, we have homes. We got our own houses, we got our own cars, we got our own hoes, we got our own clothes.
Big party, 100 deep, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Ferraris.
Meech's glamour lifestyle, Terry was the exact opposite.
BMF's reputation is well earned.
The A-list. We was some young black men from the streets that kicked it with the A-list.
They rolled as a large group, and they always appeared to have a lot of money and a lot of weapons and a willingness to use force to get what they wanted.
The Black Mafia Family, or BMF. Big Meech.
And we can't be stopped. I don't see nobody stop. I don't see no one to come after us either. Nobody will never do this again, because this many niggas and this much money can't get along.
His name Big Meech, so everything he did was big. From the flashiest cars, the iciest ice, the baddest chicks, the most expensive champagne. That was him.
Big Meech.
So we get all kinds of women, models, hood rats, everything. We do it all. We don't discriminate. A new car, new house, paid for, courtesy of the mob. We pay. That's simple. A lot of niggas don't like to spend their money. We love to spend our money. We can't take none of this shit with us. Ain't no armored trucks pulling up at no funerals. Simple.
Federal authorities kept tabs on the brothers, hoping to gather enough evidence for an indictment. Big Meech.
When we go out at night, whatever we spend, 50,000, 100,000 in the club, we can afford to do it because we ain't bring it all with us. Simple.
Big Meech.
We had money, we been had money. Money ain't nothing. A lot of don't like to spend their money. We love to spend our money. We can't take none of this shit with us.
Big Meech.
We coming in at the top of the game. We got all the cars we want, all the houses we want, all the clothes we want, all the jewelry we want, and all the hoes we want.
I'm from the Black Mafia Family, the biggest gang in the world.
In charge of the stash house was J-Bo Brown, Meech's second in command.
Anything that you can do to engender loyalty is going to work in your favor.
So you better enjoy this shit. Just a fool and his money will part. We do this, so we ain't worried about it. When we go out at night, whatever we spend, 50,000, 100,000 in the motherfucking club, we can afford to do it because we ain't bring it all with us. Simple.
That's so well. She left me in the jungle, man. It's the jungle out there, man.
Using confidential informants enabled the investigation.
A couple of weeks into the wiretap, we intercepted a call. We immediately knew that it was Terry Flenory.
What up, though? I need to fly to Florida and drive this car back to Detroit for me.
Immediately knew we had Terry and knew we had an important phone to target.
Getting a wire on Terry's phone was the turning point in the DEA's investigation.
Uncle Duty, wrong phone. Huh? Wrong phone. What up, though?
What up? Hey, didn't give you the new chip to the new phone?
My new check. Which one? The last one I got?
What you do with the phone that I gave?
Oh, yeah, I still got it. No, he ain't give it to me. He said he couldn't get a hold of Doug or some bullshit.
You got the old phone?
Yeah, I ain't got no time on it, though. You told me to burn out the time.
While we were intercepting Terry talking on a particular phone, he would be using push-to-talk phones in the background.
DEA sat back and listened for 5 months. Terry laid out the foundations of their investigation.
You got pulled over, you gave me your real name?
It is from this monitoring that we're able to find out information about the participants or co-conspirators.
I gave him everything.
This case could have ended with the wiretap on Terry's phone. We're going to identify all the people who are helping them launder their money. And that's what happened.
There was an intercepted call between Terry Flenory and his sister, and Terry poured his heart out to his sister. He was very frustrated. He was very concerned that Demetrius' flamboyant lifestyle was going to cause law enforcement to identify what they were doing. And the irony of it was that Terry's calls were being intercepted by DEA.
October 28, 2005, the long-awaited federal indictment for Demetrius and Terry Flenory was unsealed. 25 BMF members were initially charged with a range of felonies, including money laundering, conspiracy to distribute cocaine, and for the brothers running a continuing criminal enterprise. Several of the 25 defendants immediately began to cooperate with the DEA, including one of Terry's most trusted managers. Another key defendant that turned was BMF's CFO, William Doc Marshall. Meech and Terry both pled guilty without cooperation. They were sentenced to 30 years.
Pleading out to 30 years, I suppose, seemed a little bit better than life. And this, one of the largest homegrown domestic distribution organizations in the history of our country.